Alrighty, good morning guys. Today I have another study session. The goal is to continue learning about maps, channels, concurrency and testing performance of them. Well, the goal is to learn about testing.B and how we can use it. So yesterday in the evening I was thinking about how do I want to approach it, and essentially I came to the conclusion that I want to see memory, what is actually happening, how many allocations, how much memory is being used at the start, at the end of the program. And I realized that I have the metrics, right? I'm sending to Grafana, but why do we need Grafana? We can just print these metrics ourselves. So I added this logic, then I asked AI to refactor it to make it more pretty. So we have more stuffy stuff. And that's essentially what I did yesterday in the evening. So we have print mem stats. I ran a couple of tests and I already see that we have memory leak. Not memory leak. Well, we are not closing properly everything that we should be closing. So we have print memory stats before the test, right? Then we are running the test like yesterday with number of coroutines, like 8, for example. Then we are canceling our partition state. We are hitting done, but at this moment it doesn't actually close up, right, all the coroutines because they are waiting for CTX done. So at this point we are not actually cleaned up. Nevertheless, then we are checking stats after run. We are forcing GC, but here the memory is still not GC, but cleaned up. Here the memory is still not GC, but cleaned up. Here the memory is still not GC, but cleaned up. Here the memory. Alright, I have some infinite loop of sound. Alright, some audio on YouTube. I was listening to myself. I don't know if it happened on the stream as well. Nevertheless, the goal for today is to clean up my partition state, see how it's gonna work. If we can remove, make sure that it's being cleaned up. So essentially we are running our tests. We are printing what is happening inside of it. So how many allocations we have currently, total allocations, cumulative heap objects, and etc. right at the start of the test. And after the test it should come back to pretty much the same values. But after the test, as you can see, we have allocated 409 megabytes and 382, so we are not cleaning up everything. And heap in use is 124 compared to 116. Well, maybe it's fine, but I wanted to clean up the code and then compare it with partition state. And I'll probably zoom out a bit code because it's too big. I hope it's visible on the stream. And then probably add channels and then probably add HTTP server, and we will see how we can load test it via HTTP. Alright, that's the goal overall. So today, as usually, I'm gonna be doing a Pomodoros, one Pomodoro, 90 minutes. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to ask. But while I'm coding, sometimes I don't notice the chat, right? Because I'm thinking about stuff. But nevertheless, I will definitely check afterwards the chat. Alrighty. Let me put on the music. Something calm and relaxing. Alright, let's get into coding. Bish Mohammed, any guide you are following for this? Or this is just free flow? Just free flow. Yeah, I don't have any guide. I'm just going with the flow, writing code and seeing what's like unclear for me. Like essentially like right now, I want to test. I'm in the learning path. The learning path, yes and no. The thing is, I already have some tasks at my job, so my learning path is clear. I need to know what I need to know for my work, right? And right now I'm working with Kafka and stuff like that. So essentially, yeah, I'm testing partition state lock, which I'm going to be using at my project. So I just thought, why not performance test it? I want to pick Go, my work doesn't use it. Yeah, the same for me, but I convinced everyone to use Golang, at least for the microservice I'm using. But I mean, the world doesn't revolve around Golang. It's right. I mean, you can do it for fun, I guess. I mean, there should be a reason, right? If you want to learn it, right? You do it for fun. You do it for like a future. At some point, you wanna work with Golang, and you know that maybe you will be paid more, or you will be working on something more interesting. So you're gonna invest in the future, or right, just curiosity. For me, it was kind of both. But if it doesn't make sense, right? If you're gonna learn Go, and it's like you're not getting any benefits, right? You're not learning anything new, or you're not interested, or you're not gonna make more money, or you won't be able to switch jobs, right? don't do it then. Yeah, but I see more and more companies moving towards Go. Exactly. Recently, while looking change companies which I interviewed for the either focusing on Java, Go, or C#. All right. Well, Java and C# and like JavaScript, right? They're gonna be quite similar, especially from what I know, like JavaScript and C#. Golang is a bit different. So I don't know. Maybe for me it's like clear. I can see that Golang is. Well, I made a video about that, and right now it's even gotten even better for Golang. Like the salaries are pretty much the same like for Node.js, but the competition is like way lower, so it's way easier to get the job with Golang. And for me, like doing C# or Java from JavaScript, it's like same, but Golang is different, like you're going one level deeper. My friend who was working TypeScript his whole career was having trouble clearing recruiting screening in MNCs. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what is MNCs, but I understand that, yeah, like before starting to learn Golang, I was like applying for jobs, and just I made a fake resume, right, and just sending to see the response. Multinational. Okay. Yeah, the thing is that so many people, right? The competition for TypeScript jobs is it's gonna be way higher, right? You might get the job, but obviously the bar gonna be higher. There will be more people. Well, supply demand, economies, right? Just economy, higher supply demand. What can you expect? That's why, yeah, I was moving towards Golang. But the best, the lowest competition in my market, where I apply for jobs in Europe, is actually C++. So I will be like, that's a long-term plan to move to eventually to like C++ jobs. Because like but I think like being Golang and C++ dev is like both like kind of being bulletproof. But TypeScript, yeah, Java, C#. I don't know about C# and Java, but TypeScript, yeah, I was getting way less replies from recruiters. Yeah, I agree. Also, Go currently not having a framework like Spring.NET, so learning curve is much easier. Well, maybe not. The thing is with frameworks, you can write something faster, right? You have already everything pre-made for you. You just start up like Nest.js, right? You have already controllers, everything all done for you. And you can quickly, I mean, if you understand what is happening there, right? You can kind of write services faster. And even for beginners, I feel like learning Nest.js first is even better, because it shows you how it should be done. But in Golang, all right, answering your question, digressing. Yes, I agree, but also not having frameworks like Spring and .NET, so learning curve is much easier. Okay, let me rephrase it. Yes and no. So for me, if I'm more experienced person, not having frameworks, it might be easier, at the same time might not be easier. Because in Golang, for example, I still don't have like exact clarity how to structure my projects. Because I've seen like, look through open source project and everyone has his own idea. Then some guys left the comments in my videos like, do like this. And okay, I like their approach, but I don't have like clear guidance, right? This is the way. For example, with Nest.js, they tell you, do this exactly like this. So in certain way, you understand, all right, I have to do this. Why? They explain you why, and you're like, we all follow the same path. And this is just an example, right? Like folder structure. Maybe it's not that important, but with Golangs, you need to do more digging, more on this, right? More research, like why certain things are done like this, because one company does it this way, another company does it this way, third company will do it this way. Then you will be hired, you will come in, and they are doing it differently, right? And you'll be like, what's happening here? And they will be asking like, are you a senior developer or who are you? But at the same time, you have way more freedom, right? You can choose for yourself. You don't need to follow clear guidance. For example, if you don't like Nest.js, right? But everyone writes Nest.js, but you don't want to do it. You have different opinions. Yeah, but with the level of abstraction when joining the new company, I have found difficult to understand code base, specifically if you don't know these frameworks. Yes, exactly, right. Then you have to understand the framework. But usually all the companies, they follow the same framework. Right? That's what I mean. Like once you learned it, you understand it, and then it applies everywhere. With Golang, you can apply for a different company and they use some kind of different approach completely. Not completely, but you know what I mean. Like you will be like, why are you structuring folders like this? Or you doing this and that? Like I worked in another company and we did it completely like different. So it might be, you will need to learn like stuff for each company. Like with Nest.js, I worked on a lot of projects and yeah, maybe there's some differences, but you can switch very quickly from one project to another. Obviously there is business logic, I'm not talking about that. Right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I might be talking crap here, so take it with a grain of salt. How much time would take me to learn Go? I don't know, a year? This question is like... there is no correct answer on it, right? It depends, obviously. Depends on you. Depends on... Alright, let me answer broadly. If you learned any other programming language, how long would it take it to learn it, right, from scratch, so you're comfortable with? If you are proficient or have like good skill set and in one of the programming language, just ask yourself, how long would it take you if you started from zero to learn it, right, to get where you are right now? With Golang, it's going to be less, right? Because you don't need to learn concepts from the beginning. A lot of stuff will be transferable, but pretty much the same, right? You will need to put... Like, how long I've been doing Golang? I've been doing it for like streaming, I think for around 4 months now. And the more I do it, the more I understand that I don't understand. So my timeline right now is a year. I feel like, to become confident with Golang, with what I'm doing. And then probably another year to become like really good, proficient. That's like maybe a long time, but at the same time, I'm not spending... This is with my current rate of learning. What I mean by that is the amount of time I spend on it, right? I do it for 1-2 hours a day. But obviously right now I'm starting to work on another project and I'm going to be writing Go way more. But let's say I'm doing it 2 hours every day during the week, let's say 5 times a week. So 10 hours a week. I would say to become comfortable, confident, a year. If you're doing 10 hours a week. You can put in more, you can do it. But this is with my brain, my conditions, right? I have like family stuff, other things happening at like job. Maybe you don't have all of this and maybe you are just way smarter than I am and it's going to be faster for you. Unbound. Hello, hello. All right. I feel like today is going to be a chatting session. Good morning to everyone, or evening. All right. Talking about going with the flow. Still don't understand why after the test we have heap in use increased. But maybe that's expected. Yeah, I have an experience with other programming languages, so I guess it's a couple of months to become good. Yeah, there we go. Just judge yourself based on yourself, right? I won't be able to give you an answer because A, I don't know you, and yeah, that's the primary reason, right? I don't know how you learn, how fast, how much time you can put in. But the only thing I can tell for sure, you have to put in amount of hours, do mistakes, right? There is no way around it. That's the only like constant. Then depending on everyone's like, I don't know how to call it, like smartness, intelligence, right? Someone learns faster from mistakes, someone learns slower, someone doesn't have to make as many mistakes. But anyway, we need to all write code. There is no way around it, right? Like I mentioned many times, if you want to be a basketball player, or I don't know, whatever player in sports, we all know what they do, right? They train every day. So it's the same with programming. How do you manage time to learn with full-time job? Well, my schedule is like this. I woke up around 1.5 hours ago, did my morning stuff. I'm studying for 1.5 to 2 hours. Then I work. Like my work, I'm working remotely, so this helps a ton, right? I don't spend time on commute, and essentially I use this time to study. Then I work around 4 hours, then I need to take care of some family stuff, and then in the evening I work another like 4 hours, then pretty much chill and sleep, a couple of hours like relaxing and sleep. I mean, it might be different for everyone, but I found this works for me. I can do it like consistently, and obviously like everyone, right, I get tired, but I don't get like overwhelmed, so I can do it. Sometimes I need to take a break, obviously, but I can do it like years and years, and I've been doing this for a lot of time. I recently started Golang. It's overwhelming. How should I approach and learn effectively? All right, what are you learning? All right, if it is overwhelming, right? If you're learning something, there can be not only learning with everything, right? There can be 3 types of everything, right? They can be hard or overwhelming. Yep. It can be okay, right? It's just like feels good, or it can be easy and it's kind of boring. Same can be with the job, right? So what do you do in each scenario? The ideal scenario is here, right? This is like what video games are doing. This is how they get you addicted, right? They increase the level of difficulty proportional to your progress, right? They increase like bosses levels and etc. Right? So you need to, this is the ideal stuff. I think, what's the application? Duolingo, they was talking about something similar about this. They had like a TED talk. Nevertheless, so if it's overwhelming, you need to lower difficulty. Difficulty. Right? So you, I think it's boring and hard to remember. Well, why are you doing that? It then, like, what's the goal? So you really want to. All right. I think you are here. You're in a hard area, but you are choosing just topics which are boring, right? Boring because, like, for me, performance testing is not that exciting as well, right? As an example, right? I wanna understand it, but it's not the most exciting thing to look into what's happening. Mem idle, right? What is keep in use, hit total, right? Nevertheless, so it's boring, hard, and what else you said? Hard to remember. Hard to remember. Yeah, I think you just need to lower the difficulty. You need to switch to something else. Find another topic. Find easier, I don't know, if you're learning a course, find a course for beginners. Take a step back, make it easier. I don't know, do something that, like, I want to do XYZ application and do this application in Golang. If you have to learn Golang from start, what would you do? Well, I would take... well, first we crawl, right? Crawl, then we walk, then we run, then we compete, right? So first, crawling, basics, no way around here, right? Might be boring. You can choose basics differently, right? You can look at web applications. There are some games, there are, I don't know, analytics. Pick a topic that excites you, right? There are infinite number of courses, YouTube, I don't know, Udemy, whatever. Maybe you'll need to pay for something, maybe not. Maybe you can download somewhere for free. Once you walk, right, here you get better at basics, right? Here you write applications you're gonna like actually use, right? So now you, for example, you're a web developer. You do only web applications, right? Now you know the basics. Here you write web applications you wanna make, play around, which been in your head for a long time, right? Passionate. Passionate about. Once you run, right? Advanced. Get to advanced topics. And once you like compete, when I don't mean like going on competitions, but like applying for jobs, right? This is a competition, right? You're competing with other people. Here you need to be proficient and with advanced stuff, advanced topics, right? I'm thinking of start learning Go. Currently I use TS with Express and SJS. Will that be good choice? Yeah, absolutely fine. I am from TS and SJS and well, once again, if you want to learn Go, what is the reasoning behind it, right? You just do it because you're bored, or you want to get another job, or you want to switch to other projects. For example, for me, I want to work at certain point in financial industry. I like it, doesn't matter why, but I want it. Maybe you want something else, I don't know. In pharmaceuticals you want to work in gaming industry, right? It should kind of make sense for you. You either going for money or something that interests you, but you need, like what I feel, right? You need to have like some kind of drive within it, right? Something that pulls you for whatever reason. And essentially this is your motivation. It will get hard at certain point, right? But then you will remind yourself, all right, I started all this venture because of XYZ, right? Because I want to get to a point, from point A to point B, and point B is sometime in the future. All right, I feel like I'm getting into like motivational speaking, and I don't want to do that, but Okay, I got it, thanks. Yeah, I hope it helped. But yeah, essentially, if it's boring, hard, right, you need to lower the difficulty, and to fight the boring, do something that's more interesting for you, right? Maybe you will do some kind of... Okay, what is the trade-off, right? If it's boring, maybe you will do basics. You're a web developer, but you will do basics like in games, right? You will build some cool stuff. But in web development, it's not going to be that relevant, right? But anyways, you will learn basics, but then you will need to come back to web anyways. So in a sense, you can say, oh my god, I wasted all this time doing games, right? But I feel like anyway, this is better, because alternative is you're not doing anything, right? You're just not studying, and to study is always more beneficial than not to study. Makes sense, right? So maybe some other person will be like, oh, I'm already a web developer, I'm doing XYZ, but you shouldn't care about that. Everyone has his own like road, right? There is no like single path. There are like hundreds of them. You just need to find the one that works for you. Maybe it will take longer, but eventually I feel like if you will build application 1, application 2, application 3, then at some point like this puzzle in your head will complete and you will have like better understanding than other people. I am stuck in at how the folder structure should be, how to divide functionality and patterns for writing. Well, to be honest with you, it's important stuff, but not that important. Folder structure and all that stuff. I wouldn't spend too much time on it. If it doesn't make sense, okay, just switch to something else. Don't like bang your head against the wall. Switch to something else, do something else, and then come back later on. Like let your brain marinate in Golang, and you will get new ideas. Maybe you will come up onto new video or new article, and the idea will come to you. Patterns for writing. Well, overall, like folder structure in Go is a bit different. But how to divide functionality, patterns for writing, this is not Go related, right? This is language agnostic, let's call it. Fancy. Let's use fancy words, right? So like patterns like DDD, clean architecture, domain-driven hexagonal architecture, it's going to be the same in every programming language. So if that's the goal, to learn how to divide functionality, patterns for writing, you can do it in another programming language. It's not specifically to Golang. Maybe like you can find it in JS. Can you show how you handle errors? Like how you handle them and respond on that? It will be very helpful to me. Well, to be honest with you, I'm not very good with error handling as well myself. I didn't learn that stuff. Didn't go deep into that. But what we can do? Do I have some package here? We can open some open source stuff. Let me just... Let's look at how, for example, Loki does it. Grafana Loki. Oh, I'm not sharing screen. Give me a sec. There we go. So we have something like Loki. I'm not seeing them making exit with error, making any custom errors at all, for example. As you can see, this is just strings. Maybe that's not a good example. I assume you wanted to see custom errors? Go kit. Okay, there we go. Main. How do they handle errors? Yeah, they're just stringifying it. They just printing strings, returning strings. What else in here? Require no error. Restart. These are tests. Okay, a lot of tests. Is that test as well? The errors string. Okay, let me just look a bit more. These are YAML files. YAML. Alright, so what they're doing? Errors new. Right, just strings. So there we go. This is like open source project with tons of stars. They're just using strings, right? Nothing complex. Let's do errors is. Error file target stop. Okay, what is error file? Okay, they're doing it. This is the custom error, right? For example, they're using fs notify, fs, what is fs? Fs, that's a package. Well, that's the first custom error I found. Error file stopped, right? There we go. They just create errors new, this type of file, this type of string, right? And then I assume they create this, let's look for it. Return error file stopped, and then they're checking if that's the error. Errors is error of this file stopped. Something like that. If error is this error, they return it. Why they return it? Sync. Okay, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to find it. Fix bugs from tail. Okay, I don't know if that we can look at something else. What do we have? Let's open project named Hydra, or there we go. There is recipes. Do we have errors here? There we go. This is like a recipes package. I mean GitHub repo where there are recommendations of like how to write Golang correctly. There we go. They check, for example, get email, right? They write Gorm, error record not found. There we go. It's provided by Gorm. Well, here is a good example. You can look at Gorm, right? There we go, how they create all the errors. Then you check if error is this of this type, and you return whatever you need to return. Right. Now let's look at this is OS router API product. Right, they have some kind of handler. Where is the date user login? Probably OS was here. No, there should be. Where did they jump? Create book. Okay, I had a lot of stuff. open here from my last visits. Get user by username, os. Okay, so this is repository. Once again, we are returning user model. This is login, get user by email. If we get an error not null, there we go. They return status like so. Fiber map status error, internal server error. So I think something like this looks alright to me. I would do something like this. Right, so you try to get user by username. You check which error it is, right? The GORM provides it. I assume this is like from repository, maybe. Where is os? Well, this should be, if it's a clean architecture, right? You should not have like GORM errors specifically. You should map it to some other error, but essentially you will check if error is that and that. Then you will, right, do certain behavior depending on the error type. And then, right, you will return. You can check once again what kind of error is in here and return, I don't know, different statuses. You can have a different like function that will check switch case over error types and then return appropriate status message, yada yada. I don't know, but that's like, I didn't dig into that myself. All right, I don't know. Unnatural. Does it answer your question? Did I? You can look at this project. Let me just try to find it. Golang. Let's see. Yeah, I think this one. Oh, it's fiber recipes. Yeah, probably this one. Yep. If you're curious. I just completed my degree last year and I started working as an intern from second year during university, so I would say enjoy it, yes, but I wanna upskill with current trends. Alright. If you're intern, take your time, don't rush, get good at something. This is my recommendation, right? Once again, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Get good at something first, right? Build skill set. People like, from my experience so far, if depending on your goals, if your goals are to make money, from my experience, people are getting paid for expertise. If you know like 1,000 things and kind of you're useless at all of them, then, you know, it's not gonna provide high income. But if you are good at something and it's highly demanded on the market, right, then you have leverage. You can negotiate, you can ask for more money, you can say this and that. But at the same time, well, depends on your goals, right? I will tell you that, yeah, a lot of stuff you need to repeat it many times. It's gonna be boring, but essentially, like boring stuff, this is what generates money usually. How much you code daily, like hours? I don't know, coding. I would say probably around 6 hours, maybe. Yeah, 6 hours on average. Not that much, right? Why? You might be wondering. Because I have a lot of meetings. And once you're gonna be at the job, you will have a lot of, well, depending on the job, obviously. But I have a ton of meetings. And half of my day is just talking about stuff. Like, for me, writing code is not, like at my job, is not that difficult. The difficult part is to understand what to write, right? How we're gonna solve the problem. But then once we know how we want to solve it, like come up with idea and agree with like stakeholders, business owners, that this is suitable for them. This is what takes like half of my day. Alrighty, went on a tangent today, a little bit of talking, but alright. Relaxing session, talking session today. Well, yeah, I don't go like let me check. Andrew. Like there is a video from, I don't know if you know guys, like this guy, Andrew Huberman. No, that's a different account. I don't have premium here. This one, Andrew Huberman. If you want to learn how to, like, this is my recommendation. And where I'm getting with that, like he will give you a lot of advices if you want to, you're like young, full of energy, and you want to optimize your body to learn faster. Take some advices from him. Let me drop you the video. How did I close the chat? How can I reopen it? Okay, let me drop it here. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. So essentially, you can have only a limited amount of time, amount of hours a day you can code. Oh, there you go. That's the left chat. After that, your brain is kind of fried. So from my experience, I can like actually focus and write code. I would say like deep focus is probably 4 hours, not more than that. After that, I can still write code, but it's not gonna be like I'm learning something new. I'm just, I don't know, writing something I'm very good with, just going through the motions, fixing some bugs, whatever. So the actual like productive learning, coding, stuff like that, I would say 4 hours a day. But I don't mean like 4 hours when you're checking your phone, you have YouTube, you're scrolling TikTok. I mean like, and this is why I have this timer, right? Today is exception, but usually I set the timer and I write code. I don't do anything else, I only write code. This is what I mean, like, For example, one study session, 90 minutes. This is 90 minutes of studying. So I can do this kind of focus work for about 4 hours a day. And if you do it consistently, believe me, you will, like, after a couple of months, you will see huge difference. All right, I think enough of yapping. Let me do some coding today, half an hour left. Alrighty guys, I'm locking in. I'm closing in the chat. Alrighty. Still, I'm not sure why it's not being cleaned up. Okay, let me do a couple of GCs additionally, then sleep for a couple of seconds. Alrighty. Let's test out the same thing with partition state. Oh, that's a big difference. Sync map, so many objects. There we go. Yeah, so we started pretty much, well, exactly the same. And then here, we just added 1.2, like 1.1 megabytes to 78. There we go. Okay, let's combine them together. So we can test them. Okay, let's make an additional one. we have 3 megabytes for lock. Total requested from OS 524. 5 GCs were ran. Keep in use, keep idle. So pretty much we can see the same here because it's a single operation. 4.9. Oh no, it's not the same. 3.1. Ah, that's after run. Ah no, that's correct. 5. So it's showing me this part, total allocated. Okay. $273. 918. So now sync map is using less with more coroutines. Okay, let's actually remove start, and after GC, let's just look at the run stats. Because we don't really care about the rest. So kinda as expected, with more coroutines, we have higher overhead of lock contention, so more coroutines are competing for locks. So less bytes per operation, way more objects in the sync map. I guess that's expected. Heap objects, 46,000. Sheesh. Compared to 2.8 in lock. But yeah, less bytes per operation. What if we let the test run a bit longer? Am I running the same stuff actually? Test config. No, all good, all good. I was concerned that I'm passing here a lock as well. Why it's not barking on me? Okay, nevertheless. Let's run the test. We'll check it later. Let's make global test config. Let's comment this one out. Let's play around a bit with the update durations. So we have commit, update, append. Yeah, 2 is not. Let's try something like this. Okay, let's check it out. Well, now the lock is performing way worse. The more time we give. What about if we give it... Okay, let's test the same one, but we will be appending way more often. Updating and reading at the same speed. And for 10 seconds. Gosh, my coffee is cold already. Okay, so now we are appending way more often. Our heap grew. Okay. Okay. In use a bit smaller, right? But totally allocated memory. Number of objects in sync map created is just insane. More GC cycles, well, because we have way more objects. Yeah. 4,000 allocations per operations compared to 253. This was with 32. Let's do 16. Okay. So when we have less objects, map is performing better. Okay. If we give it like 60 seconds, a whole minute to run. Okay, let's try it out and I'll be back in a sec. All right. 100 megabytes. 16 coroutines. (23) compared, well, a lot performed way better. But this is expected because we are doing a lot of writing. This is exactly what I wanted to test. So essentially I can see that for my particular use case, lock is better than sync map. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to. Okay, let me check other tests. If we will be reading a lot, but how can I do this with my test setup? Let's do it here. Going to try 64. What is this music? I don't mind it, but ugly monsters. Let's test just for now. Okay. And let's do only 16 and 32. Okay. I need to add some. Okay, maybe that's not the best way to compare them. Add some helper function to view all the stuff in a more pretty way. Lock, read only, read heavy. Sync map. Why do I have so many sync maps? Nevertheless, sync map. Yeah. Double the memory. Alright, once again, should write some helper function, but for now, just copy paste. Same result. Am I testing something wrong? Alright, let's change number of keys to 1,000,000. Have a look again. Okay. It was 16 and now we're going to 32. No. Difference. Can it be that can it be that they are not garbage collected and the order matters? 0.16. Nope. Totally allocated 800. Yeah, the total allocation not currently in use drops significantly. Yeah, so the total allocated obviously grows and grows. But once we switch to log, total allocated still increases, but in use we have way less in heap. Alrighty guys, I think I will continue next time. Let me check the chat. Akash, hello. Anbal. Alright. Yeah, already closed. I started during second year, but now I have more than 2 years of experience. With CS, I'm already working in a good company, so that's that. Alright, awesome. Not sure if you're still here. But, I mean, if you feel like, if you have free time and you want to learn something else, go for it. Once again, depends on your goals. But if you're young, you can play around, right? It's just me being a bit of an old and dropping guy. I mean, not old, but older, apparently. Because whenever I'm doing something, I'm asking myself, should I do it? Or should... Because I always have, like, if you heard the phrase opportunity cost, there is always something for me to do nowadays. And I ask, what is the most, like, beneficial or in a long term thing will be for me. Alright, testing please. Yeah, just that. Right, today was mostly just chatting session, not that much accomplished. But anyways, we can see the actual memory usage thanks to the logged in help function. And later on, yeah, I will display basically the same stuff in Grafana Prometheus. But at least, yeah, we can straight away see the differences. Yeah, sync map so far uses way more. Alright, nevertheless, guys, I think I'm gonna be wrapping it up for today. I thank you all for watching, and yeah, I will see you next time, guys. Take care.